Hi, Heather.
Hi, Erin. How are you?
I'm great. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Did you get a chance to read what I was able to input in the form?
Sure did.
Okay, so you saw that I'm not a parent.
I did.
Okay, and this is still okay. You have some time to chat?
I am happy to chat with you.
Awesome. And so I wanted to just connect as a service provider to mostly autistic kids here at our center. And so we're just always looking to connect with other service providers in our community as referral sources and other supports and ideas. And so if it's okay, I just wanted to kind of get some more information and learn about what you're doing
Yeah,
and if it might be a good fit to offer, or recommend to some of the families that we support here.
sure. So how did you find me?
A Facebook reel and a family mentioned
No,
it.
what do you know? What do you want to
But
know?
we have kids that have, big concerns. We have self-injurious kids. We have kids that are, approaching their teens and not, potty trained, or even just, 8-year-olds that aren't. Sometimes it's hard to know, like, not all families want ABA, and we don't practice from an ABA lens, and it doesn't always drive well with what we do here, which is maybe a whole other conversation. But what else is there for those families, right, that are kind of struggling with some of these things at home? So that's why I was starting to put some things together that maybe this fills in that gap, but you
Yeah,
can correct me if
it
I'm
sure
wrong.
does. And guess what? The Guided Autism Program has an acronym. It's GAP.
Yeah.
Ah, we fill in the gap. Okay, why don't I give you the same spiel that I give to parents? And then you can decide whether or not that aligns with you and what you
Sounds
do.
amazing.
Because what I have to say doesn't align for everyone, right?
That's what I preach too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what I say to parents is, why don't I tell you what I think and what I do, and then you decide if that fits your life. I don't sell this. I just do it. Yes, I was in education for 28 years. What I saw was that children with autism were so capable, but they were unable to do things that they were capable of across all environments. So a child would come to school and put on their boots for me, but then at home they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
They needed a reward or they needed somebody to make it fun or whatever. But I was like, why doesn't this, why? 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 Because they're capable. The same child that was in my class who was putting on their boots at school but not at home was going to OT to work on pulling on their boots. But I'm like, well, wait, why? Because he knows how to pull on his boots. He's just not doing it. I think we're looking in the wrong place for the answers. So, does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And not because the OTs were, they're not bad people. They're wonderful people. So are every single therapist, and they love children. But I came to the conclusion that we've got it backwards.
Okay.
Okay, so here's what I think that we have to go back to when children are born. When they're a little infant, a little baby person, they instinctively already know how to do things. They can breathe, their heart pumps, the blood goes through their body, they can think basic thoughts. No one has to teach them that. As they grow and age, become toddlers, all that stuff, they cry and someone comes to help them. As they grow, they cry less and solve their own problems more to a point where they become independent. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's like the typical journey.
Yeah.
Okay. What I see with children with autism is that they never really stop the crying. And I put it in air quotes because
Yeah.
not all children with autism cry. But what I see over and over and over again in children with autism who struggle is that they continue to look outside of themselves for people or things to solve their problems.
Okay.
It
Okay.
never gets mastered to a point of independence.
Okay.
Does
And
that
you're
make
talking about
sense?
all sorts of things.
All kinds of things. And this is where people say, well, if you've met one child with autism, you've met one child with autism. I say, yes, this is true because what they are showing us, although the behaviors are all different, when you peel back all the layers, They have the same five underlying issues. This is the reason why
Okay.
I think that all of this is happening. Okay.
Okay.
Have you heard of Maslow and his hierarchy of
Yes.
needs?
I'm
Okay.
assuming one of them is going to be interoception, but I'm curious.
No, no,
No, no, no,
no,
no.
no, no. We're going
Okay.
with actually Maslow's like very, very basic
Oh,
triangle.
back. Okay.
Back, 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 back. Okay. So when a child is born, Maslow says they start here and then they move up through the triangle as they age, grow, develop, right?
Yeah.
The kicker is that the triangle has levels. And in order to move up through the triangle, you have to master each level before you can get to the next. So you can't have bits of this one and bits of this one and bits of this one. Okay.
hmm
They
But
have to
yet
be,
many autistic kids have all these interesting splinter skills. It's slightly in a different
wait,
context, but yeah.
wait, because
Yeah.
then you're going to go, oh my God. Okay. So the first one is called survival. Then we have security. Then we have social. Then we have self-esteem. And then we have self-actualization. Okay.
Okay.
So survival is where the five basic needs live. That's eating, sleeping, self-help and independence, coping and behavior, and toileting. The typical journey is that they are typically mastered around 3 or 4. The child masters these things because that's age appropriate. And they feel this sense of security knowing they can solve those problems by themselves. So they can go sleep over at grandma's because they can fall asleep. They can go eat out of a lunchbox or eat daycare food or use the toilet at their friend's house or wait their turn for the slide because they can look inward to solve those problems. When that happens, you start to find yourself in social situations. Sorry. You start to see yourself as different from other people, and you start to develop a self-esteem, like around who you are, your own interests, and that allows you to become a self-actualized person who contributes to society. In a
Okay.
nutshell, does that make sense?
Yeah.
What I see with all children with autism who struggle, they are all stuck here.
Okay. And I like how you're differentiating autistic kids who struggle
Yeah.
because not all autistic kids struggle,
No,
and
they
maybe
don't.
not in this massive way. Like you're talking about a fairly specific subgroup of autistic kids, and maybe even teenagers, and maybe even
For sure,
adults.
teenagers. I've helped teenagers.
I,
If you're stuck here in survival, you have not yet mastered eating, sleeping, self-help and independence, coping and behavior, and toileting.
yeah.
So when parents come to me, I ask them about all those things, and they all show these struggles differently, right? Some children will only use the toilet at home. Another child has to take a shower after they use the bathroom. Another child will eat only brown foods. Another child will not stay sitting at the table. All different kinds of behavior. But when you pull back all the layers, they come right down to not mastering the five basic needs. A typically developing child who masters those things and moves away from the people who help them when they cry goes on to other things and feels secure. A child who has not mastered these five things moves away from the people who help them when they cry, and the problems are bigger. They go to school. They can't have social relationships. They can't wait their turn. They won't get dressed. They won't do all of these things. Now, this is where I saw that the child is capable. So, even though they don't do those things, parents say to me, but they're capable. I see them do it. I've seen glimpses of it. So why will they do it here and not here? And it has nothing to do with ability. It has to do with security.
Okay. Okay.
It's about a lack of an ability to look inside themselves and solve their own problems.
Yeah.
So instead of putting on their boots, they're looking for who's going to put on my boots, which takes them away from any opportunity to be engaged in social. play because they are worried in their head about who's going to put on their boots. They're also worried about who's going to change my diaper or where am I going to go to the bathroom or where's the toilet or who's going to help me in the bathroom or where's my lunch? I want this. I like his lunch. I want to eat his lunch. All of these difficulties translate into undesirable behavior. Then we end up with a system who goes at all of the individual behaviors. So you have a sleep problem, you go to a sleep therapist, or you get sleep medication, or you have a big sleep routine, or whatever it is. You put noisemakers and blinders and all this stuff to deal with the sleep. If you have a food problem or an eating problem, you go see a dietitian or a food therapist, or you do food
Mhm.
chaining, or you do all this stuff. If you have an independence problem or independence and communication problem, you go see all of the people who help with that. If you have a toileting issue, it might be an OT. If you have a behavior issue, you might see a behavior therapist or ABA or whatever. But all of these things collectively get in the way of each other. This is where I think we have it backwards. All of the therapies, which are good, that parents do come at this triangle from the top down. And they come in around here. The child goes to someone, they have a relationship with someone, they have to develop a relationship to learn. This is right. You have to have a relationship with someone in order to learn. But if you're stuck in the bottom of the triangle, you're not open to that. So, why I think we have it backwards is I think that children with autism who struggle have to first get out of the bottom of the triangle, show everyone what they're capable of independently and consistently, then go to therapy because then the parents can choose the right therapy for the child at the right time. What happens with our system right now is that they get on lists, and whatever opens up is what comes next. But parents don't even know if their child actually knows how to do the thing they're going to therapy for because the child hasn't consistently shown what they're capable of. So I have families who have gone through my program and the child starts to speak. Then they go to therapy. Then they go see their speech therapist. And this is what they need to work on. They know exactly what their goals are.
Okay.
I'm not anti-therapy at all, but I think we have it backwards. I think that the parents who come to me, they literally have said, we've been in therapy for years. Nothing's working. The behavior's getting in the way. This is all happening, but they're still not whatever. You insert the behavior. They're still not doing the thing. And that's because they're stuck here in the bottom of the triangle, which is not about ability. It's about a feeling of security that you can solve your own problems across all environments.
It's interesting because we talk about solving problems all the time. It's interesting for you to put it in like different words and of different importance, right? And the other thing that I come across all the time as a clinician is helping parents work through some of those little things that I know the kid can do. Like, I know you can wait, like, stop driving around our parking lot for 6 minutes if you're 6 minutes early, but you're getting at it from a bit of a different angle, I think, in a bigger picture, not just
Mhm.
literally waiting in my waiting room.
Yeah, so here's what happens. For the child that can't wait, if we go at these, all of these behaviors, if we look at those as symptoms
Yeah.
instead of problems, they are symptoms of one problem, and that's a lack of self-regulation. So you need self-regulation to wait. You need self-regulation to follow through with the toileting process. You need self-regulation to sit at the table, nourish yourself with a variety of food. You need self-regulation to fall asleep on your own. All of those five basic needs require self-regulation. If the child already knows how to do them because they're capable, if you go at self-regulation, those things fall in place. I want to show you a picture. Parents have allowed me to use these. I've put them online as well. I'm not breaking any kind of confidentiality here. This little girl whose home I went to live in, she couldn't wait for anything. She couldn't wait 5 seconds, and it was always uppy, 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 uppy. Like everything was about solving her very basic needs.
Uh-huh.
After 3 days, she set the table, put the food on the table, waited at the table 20 minutes for her sisters to get there.
People, where are you?
Yeah.
Wow.
No crying, no demanding food. It sat there right in front of her. The very first day I got there, she thought that family style of food was all hers. She had every bowl in front of her and her hands in it. But that's because her
Yeah.
perception of herself was everybody's solving my problem. I don't have to do this by myself. By
Right.
by the end of the 3 days, she could scoop out the rice, put it on her plate, put the food back, and ask for more. She could wait at the table for everybody to join. And then she started to clear her dishes. Nobody asked her to.
Amazing.
And that's because she was stuck in the bottom of the triangle. Parents have been trying to teach her how to wait, but that wasn't the problem.
Is that what the 333
Yeah,
stands for then?
333 is a 4 month long program. It's 3 days, followed by 3 weeks, followed by 3 months. So over the course here, I have a visual. It's 4 months long from 1 to 6 down. That's a timeline. The 3 days is an in-home experience. It can be done online or in person. I would go to live with families, or we would do it online over Zoom. And then we would have a 24/7 group chat. Jenny is in Australia who helps to provide the 24/7 support because she is 12 hours ahead. So her daytime is
Lovely.
our nighttime. So that's how I give families 24/7 support who are doing it online.
Okay.
Okay. So we start with a meet and greet where they meet me and Jenny, and they get both of us no matter which program they choose. So we do a meet and greet. Then for a week, the families get one email a day that gets them in the mindset of change. Then we pause the emails, we do their 3 day experience. I either show up at their door like Mary Poppins, or we do it online with the parents and me and Jenny. After the 3 days are done, big, big changes have happened at home, but they're not maintained yet. The environment's pretty artificial. You can't be that small of a world for life, right? So over the 3 weeks, we then expand it. The child goes back to school. We go to get their haircut, the grocery store, like whatever is happening in the family's life, we expand out. And the emails start up again. They get one a day for the 3 weeks. And I meet them online once a week. We do check-ins, more than that if they need it, but everything's scheduled to make sure that we talk. Then during the 3 months, they move into an online group that I have for everyone. I call them my 333 parents. It's like Facebook, but it's not. And inside of there, I have daily open Zoom calls. So if they have questions, they want to talk something through, they just hop on a Zoom call and they have access to me every day. So there's 3 ways that they can do the program, and they all follow the same timeline. So there's 3 price points as well. There's a group program. So I would put, like if your child was 5, I would go and find other families with 5-year-olds and they would be in the program together. So
Okay.
that one's done online. That's when we do Zoom calls, one a day for the first 3 days, plus the group chat, and everybody's in everything. So there's a bit of like community learning, and that goes the whole 4 months. So they still get the whole timeline. So the 3 days, then the 3 weeks, and then the 3 months. Second one is a private online. So it's just the parents and me and Jenny follow the same timeline. The third one is where I come and live with them. So it's the 3 days is me living in their home. Then it shifts to online with me and Jenny for the 3 weeks because we check in. And then they go to the group. Special services at home subsidizes.
I was wondering.
Yeah. I
Okay.
can't, OAP doesn't call me a provider because I am not
Yeah. You don't fall
designated.
into any of those.
No,
Yeah.
I don't. But special services at home does.
Which
It's
most families that have OAP money also have access to, correct?
Yes. However, when a lot of people come to me, they don't even yet have OAP.
Yeah. Same. Yeah.
So, so they're on wait lists for tons of things, but they're like, let's do this. Let's get started. So what I have seen is that parents who flip it and do me before they go to therapy. Now, I've seen this because I've had parents come to me who are doing therapy. It's not going well. They pause everything, they do my program, then they go back to therapy, and it is like exponentially increased and goals are met. It's like they just fly through the triangle. It's unbelievable. It's like magic.
It
So
does sound like
it
magic.
is. It is. It like it works every single time. Every time.
Wow.
So I have parents who are like, okay, we've been going to the OT for, oh, I had one parent who took their child to three different OTs over the course of a year. Nothing was working except for it was fun, but nothing translated.
Yeah.
So then they paused. They lived in Seattle. They paused. They did the online private program. Then they took him back to OT, and all of a sudden he can do his buttons and his zippers, and he's got the patience and the social capacity to
Mhm.
learn with a person that's not their parent. Like
Amazing.
it
Yeah.
is, it actually is.
Yeah.
So I
I love
say,
how passionate you are about it.
yeah.
Like,
So I say to therapists like you, if you have children who are not progressing, send them over
mhm.
because I'm going to send them right back to you, and you're going to see a world of difference and like things open up for them.
How come I haven't heard of you sooner? What?
How come, right? So I quit teaching 2 years ago.
Okay.
I was doing this very quietly, evenings, weekends, before I was like, I got to pick a lane because I really felt like at school we were doing it wrong. And I couldn't change the institution. So I was like,
Oh,
I gotta quit. It took me a long time to be able to say all of this without it landing offensively to therapists and to parents. And what my message is that I'm not anti-therapy. We've got it backwards. And we have to build the foundation before we can stack stuff up on top. Originally, I was thinking like, "Oh, therapy doesn't work," because parents were coming to me and they're like, therapy's not working. And I was thinking therapy doesn't work, which is not the case. Therapy works when the child is open to where therapy comes in.
yeah.
And that's a hard thing to get across to people without it landing offensively. So I'm sorry if I've landed at all offensively. I think that you and your colleagues are wonderful, child-loving people, and we need you. I just think they need me first.
That's fair. There's often, and I think this is where I often get stuck as a clinician because it's very clear that this is not just a speech problem, communication. This is about the whole child. There's a bigger thing going on. But what usually ends up happening is that these families go to ABA. The ABA is going to solve everything, and they're in this little silo of ABA. And we know that ABA doesn't translate well to the real world. I don't think they're doing anything at all like what you're doing. There's almost a promise that it's the same. Like, oh, we're going to
Yeah.
work on waiting, we're going to work on toileting.
Which is not the right approach. The waiting is not the issue, it's a symptom. The fact that they are not using the bathroom is actually just a symptom. Like I say to parents all the time, does your child have a catheter? Do they have a colostomy bag? So their organs are working. There's absolutely no medical reason why your child can't use a toilet. They can pee and they can poo. And they say yes. And I say, okay, so really they're looking to a diaper to solve their problem. This is them stuck in the bottom of the triangle looking to a person or a thing to solve their problem. And in this case, it's a diaper.
Yeah.
Really, the thing
Yeah.
that could solve their problem is the toilet. They just have to get there. Why aren't they getting there when they're capable? Because they're not looking inside themselves to solve their own problem.
Hmm.
Right? Same
Yeah.
thing with food. So parents say to me all the time, "Oh, they're a picky eater. They won't do this. They have preferred foods, like all this stuff, right? Okay, do they have a feeding tube? No. Do they have any kind of medical condition that keeps them from being able to chew and swallow? No. So what they really have is food preferences. which we all have. There's no medical reason why your child cannot chew and swallow the food that's put in front of them. They just prefer to chew and swallow their safe foods. So they are looking to you and their safe foods to solve their problem of hunger. They are not looking inside themselves to eat whatever is put in front of them. They actually have this feeling, this overwhelming feeling of insecurity when food is put down in front of them that they won't eat. Some kids lose their minds. That is because they lack the ability to look inward and know that it's okay to eat it. Every single child that I have helped can eat food. I had a child
That's
who started out with blueberry muffins and yogurt. That's all he would eat. Now he helps mom make chicken parmesan.
that's amazing. I know I had a client who like quite literally survived on a whole summer, 2 months. The only thing she ate was Smart Food popcorn.
And that's because that's her safe food,
Yeah.
right? That
Yeah.
she's looking to popcorn to solve her issue of hunger. It's not
Yeah.
because she can't
A
chew and
really
swallow.
different lens, right? Because parents, I think the eating thing is real big for parents. Like they just want their kids to eat.
They're afraid their kid is going to
So
die.
afraid, so afraid. Yeah. But you're still saying regardless, it's still coming back to survival. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting. And I guess the actual work you do varies tremendously depending on the client in front of you and the family in front of you. Or is there
The
main,
the process starts out the same for everyone. It starts out with the emails,
yeah,
right? And then the first day. And everything beyond the first moment of the first day is about taking the child's lead. The process unfolds naturally for each family in the context of a framework, but it is kind, it's loving, and it works. Did you go to my website and see any of the testimonials? One girl who's 15, she never sat at the family table and she never ate anything different than her waffles and syrup,
whatever beige. Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
they had a kitchen table and they had an island, like a peninsula that jutted out, and she sat at the peninsula and ate every day for over a decade. Very first morning, she sat at the table with her parents and ate breakfast. Lunchtime on the first morning, she set the table.
Those are some huge changes.
Right? And those are changes that can't be measured in a clinic. Those are the changes that get you out of the bottom of the triangle and give you the security to go back to the clinic.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
Yes.
right? Like, I think we all need to be working together. I have partnered with some when parents are really open and the therapists are open. Some therapists who I haven't had conversations like this with are very threatened by me and they feel like I'm competing with them,
Mm.
right? Which I totally get. And that's why I come at this always like a therapist wants to talk to me. Yes, let's do
Yeah, I
this.
was like, how do I'm not a
Yeah.
parent. Like, she's
Yeah.
gonna cancel this call, but
No, no, I want to talk to everyone because I just think we've got it backwards.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
every time a family goes through it and it works, I'm like, it's backwards. Like now the child can thrive.
Well, thank you. Thanks again for
You're
your
welcome.
time and
Super nice to meet you, Heather.
yeah, thanks, Erin. Okay, take care.
Okay,
Okay,
bye.
bye.